Andy Cohen weighing in, okay? Let's move on to Andy Cohen weighing in. Now, this is what Andy Cohen had to say about the situation because he is not happy. All right. Now, this is from Us Magazine, and put all your questions and comments down below, and we're going to get into it. It says, kicked out of the clubhouse. Andy Cohen called out Howie Mandel shortly after his bombshell podcast interview with Tom Sandoval, and he didn't hold back. The most talkative author, 54, made a reference to Mandel, 67, during the Tuesday, April 11th episode of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. He says, tonight's jackhole of the day goes to the fact that Howie Mandel apparently didn't know what he was getting himself into with his interview of Tom Sandoval today, the producer teased, because it seems like maybe he didn't do his homework. And that's a lot coming from Andy Cohen because we give him so much crap when he doesn't do his homework. But I'm actually going to give Andy a little bit of grace because I do think he's trying to step it up. Like, I think he's understanding, like, you got to come with the assignment. Anyway, let's keep going. Cohen subsequently played a clip from the Howie Mandel Does Stuff episode, which dropped earlier on Tuesday. In the audio, Mandel seemed not to recognize the Vanderpump Rules cast members mentioned by Sandoval 40 as he shared his side of the story regarding his cheating scandal with Raquel Leviss. Side note, did Sandoval just have a birthday? Because now Us Weekly is saying he's 40 when before they were saying he's 39. Other people said he's actually 42. I personally don't really care, but let's keep going. Now, both Sandoval and Howie are being dragged on social media. Cohen added, Howie, you have to be careful before you take a side. Bravo fans are very passionate. Yes, we are passionate. We do our homework and we come with the facts and the receipts. The Emmy winner previously chimed in on the interview via Twitter, replying to a social media user who encouraged him to invite Mandel on Watch What Happens Live to, quote, explain himself. Cohen answered on Tuesday, or not. Sandoval's podcast appearance marked the first time he spoke in depth about his affair with Raquel, 28, which has been dubbed Scandoval since making headlines in March. Us Weekly confirmed last month that the Sir bartender and Ariana Madix called it quits after 9 years of dating due to his infidelity. Both Sandoval and Raquel issued public statements on the drama and apologized to Ariana for their actions. During his chat with Howie Mandel, however, the TomTom co-owner claimed that he and Maddox were already broken up weeks before news of his affair went viral. Again, I think he's lying about this, but he said, like many relationships, it felt like it became more like that of best friends, family thing, sometimes roommates, he argued. There were a lot of ways where the relationship was just lacking the intimacy, the connection. We would travel more by ourselves than we would together. I would go to weddings by myself. We, for a while, had been sort of living our own lives. Side note, he also said in the podcast that Ariana was trying to plan trips for the both of them, and he didn't want to go. Again, this is why I think he stopped wanting to spend time with her. And I think he was the one who stopped wanting to have sex with her. This happens a lot. I'm not being sexist, but I'm just going to say with men and women relationships. I'm not being sexist or anything. But it happens a lot with men and women relationships. And I'm only going to say that because I'm straight and I don't want to speak for, other types of relationships that I don't know about. But it seems like the guy will stop being sexually attracted to the wife or the girlfriend or whatever. And then they'll go out and cheat on her. And then when they get caught, they go, well, you stopped having sex. You weren't being sexual. You wouldn't do what I wanted you to do. But which came first, homie, the chicken or the egg? Were you already checked out of the relationship and you went and got your needs met someplace else? And now you're trying to gaslight the girl like it's her fault that you went out there and cheated on her? Because a lot of times the reason why they say when the sex stops, it's a problem, it's because they're usually getting it someplace else. Let's keep going. The Shorts and Sandy's co-founder said his life felt bleak after turning 40 in July of 2022. Okay, so he's 40, yeah. I started to lose. Oh, you know what? Is it Tom Schwartz who's 39? Anyway, let me get off of the age thing. I started to lose my optimism in my life and my drive. I started to feel trapped. I started thinking like, I don't need this house. I don't need this stuff. But I felt like I need to make a change to feel motivated, to feel optimistic again, he said. According to Sandoval, he attempted to break up with Maddox on Valentine's Day. Attempted, without coming clean about Raquel at the time, but the Florida native was in denial about ending the relationship. Obviously, she was very upset. She freaking punched me and all this stuff, he alleged. A couple of days later, I sit down and talk with her again, and she's like, I'm not letting you leave me. You're gonna have to force me out of this relationship. Again, I think he's lying. I don't think that Ariana would say, oh, and he also tried to say, like, she said, like, oh, you're ending my life if you break up with me. I think he's lying. I don't think that Ariana would say, you're going to have to force me out of this relationship and that you're ending my life by, if you break up with me or something like that. I'm going to quit the show. I'm going to go off of social media, blah, 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 blah. Like, what? That doesn't even sound right. You're going to have to force me out of this relationship? Who talks like that? Nobody talks like that, right? If I'm talking to a guy and he's like, Candy, I want to break up with you. You're going to force me out of the relationship. That doesn't even sound right, does it? No. It sounds more like describing what he actually did to her. Because at the end of the day, what he actually did to her was he forced her out of the relationship. Because at the end of the day, she actually broke up with him. When she found the sex video of Raquel on his phone, she broke up with him. At the end of the day, after all we've talked about, the sickest part is Tom Sandoval never actually broke up with Ariana. She broke up with him. So does this sound like what she said to him, or does this sound like him describing what he did? He forced her out of the relationship because he was too big of a coward to actually end it, him being the one ending it. That's you being a coward, Tom. That's not her being in denial. Yeah, she may have been in denial, but that's not on her. That's on you. That doesn't sound like, people don't talk like that. I think he's describing what he did, not saying what she said. But let's keep going. The Bravo celebrity noted that he was still involved with Raquel while having breakup conversations with Maddox, who was none the wiser. I was seeing Raquel as often as I could. I know that sounds horrible, he said, and FaceTiming her all the time. And Ariana didn't even notice because that's just how separate our lives were. I had to actually tell her, how have you not noticed how distant I've been lately? See, is that not forcing someone out of the relationship? I was being distant. I was doing all this. I'm forcing you out of the relationship rather than just saying I want out. And then don't forget, there's also that clip going around, and I think we'll see it on the episode tonight, where they're all clearly on something. Like clearly, Raquel, I don't think Sheena is, but Ariana, Raquel, and Tom Sandoval, they're clearly on something that's not just booze. And he's like, Raquel. And Ariana's like, stop saying that. And he goes to her, oh, she's getting jealous. Like, that just goes into like the sickness of what he did. Like, you're already cheating on her, probably with multiple women, but also with Raquel. And then you're going to sit there and taunt in her face the same way he dressed up as her as Halloween. That's why I'm saying I think that they did a lot more, him and Raquel did a lot more sick and twisted cuckoo for Cocoa Puff stuff. Because now that has such a different meaning. You're sitting there saying Raquel in her face and then laughing and being like, look, she's jealous. When the entire time you actually are having sex with Raquel. Sick. He's describing what he did to her. This is sick. And this is why they're getting all of this smoke. Not because the fact that he cheated, but how he cheated. And then everything that has consequently happened or subsequently happened. That's why. Sick. All right. Now let's also listen to what Andy said, because I grabbed a segment, okay? So here it is. Let's listen.
I should mention this Sandoval interview with Howie Mandel, of all people.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Why was he allowed to do that? Doesn't Bravo have him on like a PR interview, like waiting for the reunion embargo?
You know, one would think.
One would think, because like this is all stuff I want to hear at the reunion, you know?
You're going to in a different forum. And I will predicate this by saying I did a great interview with Tom at the reunion. And I'm still looking forward to you all seeing that. And hearing his perspective up against Raquel and Ariana is fascinating stuff. So there's still more to come. This Howie Mandel thing, I don't know. I found out about it last week. Was annoyed on my behalf, on Bravo's behalf, on the viewers' behalf. I'm surprised he gave an interview to someone who doesn't seem to be familiar with the show or watch the show on any level.
No.
I mean, from the clips that I saw, do you think Howie watched a frame of the show?
No, as was just pointed out on the Smith Sisters Live, he said, "Who's Sheena?"
Right.
As he was reading notes.
And he's like, I don't understand why this is a big deal. But, you know, maybe that's what Tom felt he needed from an interview so that he could just be completely unchallenged. I mean, from the clips I saw, neither Tom nor Howie did themselves any favors. And, you know, just memo to Howie, Peacock has a list of the episodes that you need to see to catch up on this thing. Just watch those if you don't have time. Seems like a missed opportunity for both of them. I will kind of leave it at that. And I am excited still for y'all to see the reunion. But what a head scratcher.
You know, I need a little something else besides
but it
those
just
two.
But I mean, missed opportunity is the big headline to me, because
I think he
it's like-
probably
it would
did
be
it because
like-
he thought he
it would be
probably
like
didn't
me
think-
doing the exit interview with Tom Brady when he retires. Who wants to hear that? What do I know? You know what I mean?
Well, I think he might actually do a good job with that.
Well, no, I mean, okay, me doing a Deal or No Deal reunion. You know what? If I was doing a Deal or No Deal reunion, you know what I would do?
You'd watch Deal or No Deal.
I would watch Deal or No Deal to find out what it's about. You know what I mean?
Well, I did hear that clip when he said, I
Sheena?
feel like people are being too, well, yeah, but people are being too mean to you and everything. It's like, actually, this is somebody who really...
Well, I mean, also, hold on. I mean, I think, listen, there's also a way to comment on the outrage.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild. It was wild.
I think he went on because he thought it would be, he didn't know a whole lot,
I think he went on
know?
because he thought it was a friendly environment. Tom's drummer's wife is the producer of the podcast. So there you go. There you go.
There you go. There you go. I mean, this is the thing. I also think that Andy Cohen had to come out and say something, because did you count how many times he said, still watch the reunion? I still want to watch the reunion. We still have to watch the reunion. Because, like I said earlier, it's like, why do we even need the reunion at this point? Everything has already been said. And speaking of that, let's move into our next story, which is Sandoval, is his actual, role on the show now on the line? Could he be fired for doing this Howie Mandel interview? Now, don't forget, Jax had come out, and I know Jax Taylor, we have our feelings about him, whether we like him or not, whatever the case may be.